17-year-old Rihanna. And then you learn about Aaliyah, and you learn about how young Beyonce was. And then you look at his alleged son. Jay-Z's got a history with these girls. Do you believe Jay-Z is really this nefarious Diddy-like player?
I probably shouldn't say this.
You've been really covering the Diddy Jay-Z stuff pretty well. I was curious your opinion on some of these characters in the space. What the Jay-Z of it all, like, I don't doubt Jay-Z's done some bad things, especially the women that he's dating, the ages. The Rihanna clip is really troubling when you watch that one about sign this deal or you can either go out the window or have you seen that clip where Jay-Z is telling Rihanna, cue the clip.
There are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal signed or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
There's a clip where Jay-Z is sitting like, there's two ways to leave this room, signing the contract or out the window. And this is like a 18, 17-year-old like Rihanna who tells this story to Tyra Banks. It's troubling. And then you learn about Aaliyah and you learn about how young Beyonce was. Jay-Z's got a history with these girls. And I'm like, and then you look at Rymar, his illegitimate alleged son. There's definitely some smoke there that I'm like, what's going on? But do you believe the Jaguar rights and everybody out there that Jay-Z is really this nefarious Diddy-like player who's, as bad as him?
Yeah. I mean, I probably shouldn't say this. Just because I'm thinking, promo. Like most people, they get power. Let's just, I'm not saying what I was going to say. You get some power and you start getting menacing. And I think that these guys are extremely menacing. And you hear things, you hear things in that industry, in the kind of the hip hop industry that have happened that just don't happen in other industries. Holding guys over balconies and telling them they have to sign over their, like, what are you doing? Like, I mean, they act like they're mafia bosses back in the 1920s, and they can get away with anything. And the problem is that a lot of times they do, and they surround themselves by yes men. I think that they get, they get power hungry, and they get a bunch of money, and they make a bunch of money, and then the hip hop culture celebrates, brutalizing people, shooting them, not snitching. You create this culture where that kind of behavior is embraced, and everybody thinks it's just wonderful and how cool it is to brutalize somebody and treat them horribly and take their stuff and laugh about it and get away with it because you got a ton of money and you're like that. It's like you're a scumbag, and everybody thinks it's kind of cool and funny until it happens to them, and then they run around and complain about it, and then nobody wants to listen to them. You've got Jaguar Wright out there saying, this is what he's doing, and it's wrong. This is what these people are doing, and they're wrong. And she's completely ignored until it's 100% everywhere and in your face, and then it's like, okay, yeah, you were right. Like, then she gets some credit. But she's been saying it forever. People don't. It's the same thing with the Courtney Burgess. Hey, I think this whole thing's made up. Whether it's true or not, I think you made it up. Nobody wants to hear that. When we came out and we let Wade talk about how the memoir was true, right? The Kim Porter memoir was true, and we let him pitch it as if it was true. Video blows up. The moment you come out and say, listen, it's not true, all of this isn't true, and not just that, we don't think that there are really tapes, we don't believe this, here's what's going on, here's how the story's changed, the guy's a liar, guess what immediately happens? Those videos don't do well. They want to believe the sensationalism, and they celebrate gun violence and brutalizing people, and it's a horrible I don't say genre, but industry in general. So yeah, I absolutely believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I don't disagree. There's a lot of like, him and Beyonce are drinking the blood of what. That's where it goes a little too far for me. But I will say there's clearly something going on, because to see Jay-Z's lawyers, that Alex Spiro, he's no joke, and he was putting a full court press out there, and he did a pretty good job at a certain point, I thought, where he was discrediting that woman who was filing the suit against him. Then I talked to Natanya and others who've experienced the world of Jay-Z, Diddy, and that environment, and just the levels they'll go to. it's possible that they paid off the father or other things that happened. So it's a wild story, but I guess that's where I'm just trying to figure out, do you think Jay-Z will eventually be named in this or held accountable by anybody? Or do you think there is a point where you get so powerful that he can just keep fighting and get away with it?
I think the moment it gets away with you in the press and everybody starts paying attention, evil, despises the light. You know what I'm saying? So the moment it's everywhere, it becomes a thing where it's like, okay, you can't shut enough people. Too many people are talking about it. You can't shut them all up. It's the whole Diddy coming out saying, all these women are complete liars. They're all liars. None of it's true. I've never done anything like that. They're all money grubbing, pieces of garbage. And then there's a video of you in the hallway smacking the crap out of a chick and dragging her back in the room. And then it becomes, okay, well, that one's true. But all the others are like, stop it, bro. That wasn't it's like Rodney King. It's like when people were coming out saying that, oh, the police beating this guy was a random event. It was a one-time thing. That was an isolated event. It was an isolated event. Absolutely. The police beating Rodney King was an isolated event on camera that got caught on camera. The fact is all the other beatings that are happening just weren't caught on camera.
Correct.
They're happening. The isolated event part of that scenario was that there was a camera. Mm-hmm. That's the only isolated part of that whole scenario. The police be doing all these beatings, that's a given. That was happening. But the police are like, oh, no, that was an isolated event. No, it wasn't. The camera being there was the isolated event. That's the same thing with all of these guys.
Well, and Diddy's downfall for me was not obvious. It was that, but it was also his denial of it when he settled and it was like, nothing, everything she said was a lie. I never did anything. Da, da, da. And then it was like, oh, wait, actually, he did do that one. Yeah. His credibility shot. Yeah. I guess that's what I'm waiting, because Diddy's done. We agree, right?
He's done. He's toast. Nobody's seen him.
I feel like even people are losing interest in talking about it because they're kind of like, it's over.
Best case scenario, the best deal he gets is 15 to 20 years, and we see him in 10 to 12 years.
But
best case.
Jay-Z, I don't know, that Beyonce just did the Netflix Beyonce Bowl, huge ratings allegedly. He's at the premiere of Mufasa with Disney. They're not even stopping him from coming. Do you think he'll actually face any accountability? Or even will there be a serious allegation beyond the one that actually holds up and gets people to, like you say, put the pressure on?
I mean, I feel like there's something should happen, and will it happen? I don't know what they have. It might, honestly, I don't know. It depends on what comes out maybe in the trial, what evidence comes out. Do these people testify? What does Diddy say? Like, if Diddy started cooperating, like, he could start cooperating right now and start grabbing people, plucking people off the street. Hey, I can give you this guy, I can give you this guy, I can give you this guy. Like, that might be the. So do I think if that happened, for sure, I think that these guys get caught up in it.
Is there a version though where it's like, okay, Jay-Z is an a-hole, Jay-Z's controlling freak, powerful. He's hooking up with questionably aged women, whatever. That, I mean, like 18, maybe 17 in New York. He's doing that line, but none of it's illegal. Is there a version where that's the worst of it? And sure, he's just a mean guy, not the best employee. Maybe a skeezy guy. Like, do you think there's a version though, where that's all he's guilty of?
Yeah, I think that he's probably is guilty of that. The fact that they roped this whole thing into a RICO charge to me is weak. You're using RICO to say that you're using your record label as some kind of an organized crime, as an organized crime, unit or company or whatever. I think that seems weak to me. I think what ends up happening is you've got the gun charges on him, and maybe you get he's guilty of paying sex workers.
You're just talking Diddy, but I was talking Jay-Z.
I'm talking Diddy. Oh, okay.
Because I'm with you. We said Diddy's going there. With Jay-Z, though, I'm just like, what's the charge? There was one serious charge, but even that one, I'm like, this woman's not a good witness.
Right, and it's
And then everyone's like,
isn't it- and
Jay-Z's
it-
guilty. We
and
gotta
it- but
destroy
it's-
Jay-Z. And I'm like, I don't, what?
well,
based on what?
also the statute of limitations on that charge. I'm thinking about Jay-Z being pulled into Diddy's stuff.
Got it. Because he was there clearly more than he wants to admit.
Right. And so I'm thinking that
And I don't even mean to try to say like, oh, Jay-Z's innocent. I'm just trying to figure out like how everyone wants Jay-Z to be arrested. And I'm like, on what?
well, yeah, but no, I don't think he gets on that. I don't think he gets arrested on that because the statute of limitations is up, right? Statute of limit. Everybody's like, oh, and that's why when he comes out, he's like, charge me criminally. But bro, you know the statute of limitations of like that. That's how stupid. Well, first of all, two things. One, that's how stupid he thinks society is, and that's how stupid society is.
Yeah.
Because he knows how stupid his fan base and just
Sadly.
society is. He's like, if I was guilty of it, you should arrest me criminally. Like, bro, you already know.
That they can't do that.
They can't do that. That's why you're mouthing off like that. You would think right then that was so disingenuous that anybody with a brain would be like, oh, wow, bro, you got something to hide. The fact that that's what your defense is.
Right.
is
And then how
pathetic.
much else can't get criminally
Right.
charged now because he's blocked them off.
Right. I think if there's an investigation, I think that if the trial goes forward with Diddy, I think there more stuff comes out about Jay-Z, and I think that may manifest itself in charges of some kind. That's what I think. Then he probably gets arrested. But it depends, does Diddy? He's so arrogant. He's going to go to trial.
Name
he's
names or
lose.
really just take it all?
He's so arrogant. If he was smart, he'd take a deal right now. But he's arrogant. He's going to end up going to trial and getting 45 years.
I mean, you've been in prison. Is there a point you think where he's gonna say enough? I'll cave. I'm gonna give it up.
Yeah, but yes, most of these guys, once they lose their appeals, they lose their what's called a 2255, where you file ineffective assistance of counsel, where you say my lawyers were ineffective, they didn't
Right.
help me.
Costco lawyers saying
Right.
that the loops. Costco, come on.
So
Bad lawyer.
So they're going to at that point, but by that point, it's been 7 or 8 years, and now they start to think, I could have talked, and I could have given up all these people. I could have cut a deal. I could have saved myself. And at that point, statute of limitations is up. There's nothing you can do. You're done. Sit down. Like, you're going to do the rest of your time. That's what happened. At that point, it's like, oh, I need a pardon.
Right.
I need this. I need that. And by that point, everybody's forgot about you. Your money's all gone. Your fans are sending you $50 here, $10 here. But the truth is, you're just an old man now who's going to got 45 more years to go.
And there's no one who can tell Diddy this too, because it's not like he can go watch your channel on YouTube, right? He's locked away from all reality.
No, and I'm sure his lawyers are all telling him, like, we're going to beat this. We're going to send us another 100,000. We're going to get this witness, this expert.
It's crazy.
They're
It's true.
draining
him out of
now.
money as much as they know they can get. And
Then the lawsuits.
he's sort of stuck. Like, you want to keep retaining us and keep going? They're not doing this pro bono at this point.
What about all these lawsuits? They're asking for outrageous amounts because they're waiting for him
those
to
can
get
all
found.
get delayed, right? He's going to delay all those till after trial.
But of course they want to. You know why? Because the moment he's found guilty, you've got no defense.
Right.
If you settle now for a few $1 million, okay. But if you lose at trial, that $3 million for this one, $6 million for this one, $4 million for those lawsuits that could be settled right now for nominal change compared to what this guy's got. Once you're found guilty, it's over. Those civil lawyers will continue. Civil cases will continue to go forward, and now you can't even get on the stand because as soon as you do, they're going to say, Mr. Diddy, or Sean, Mr. Combs, weren't you just found guilty of this and this and this and this? You can't even get there and say, well, none of that's true. Oh, it's not true. So you're not even going to own up to the fact that the government and a jury of your peers has already found you guilty of all these things. The same thing, by the way, that my client is saying that she was a part of, and he's going to what? So that $5 million you could have settled for probably just turned into $50 million because the jury's going to be like, scumbag.
Yeah. And the lawyer's going to want to get as much. They're not going to get money at that point because he's probably broke.
Well,
But
that
then-
depends how much the lawyers get. They'll be selling off his assets. They'll get
Right.
something.
But it's interesting because then you go look at that Courtney Burgess lawsuit, which is like fascinating because I'm sure the lawyers are seeing, well, maybe we actually can get some money off of this and use that as a way to sort of connect it.
I think they're just trying to shut him down because let's face it, I don't think that the lawyer has any money. I know Courtney doesn't have any money.
No, but like the Diddy case, it happens where the people try to get in on the circus and lie about it. And that was part of my struggling and covering it was like, you want to please the circus because they're your viewers. They really want that salacious stuff. They want to believe everything. We try our best to be when we're unsure, we say, look, alleged. This is an allegation. We don't want to put out lies ever, especially on purpose. But there were some accusers. I don't want to get in the names of them all, but you probably interviewed some of them too. There were some people I was like, you're full of shit, is
Right.
what I was thinking as I'm doing it. And I tried my best to be respectful as a host, but also challenge. But I don't know. Did you experience that as you've been covering Diddy, that some of these people are not always being as fully honest with you?
I interviewed Courtney Burgess. You know who he is?
I avoided him.
Oh, listen. Once again,
I don't even want shade with him. He texts me still, but I don't know. I just didn't. And especially now, I don't believe it.
no, but then your instincts are spot on because it's a complete
Have you interviewed Chris Todd?
Of course, multiple times.
Chris Todd is look. I'll say this because I did a whole video with him. I didn't release it because I'm just like I don't want to keep giving him attention. That's all he wants.
Yeah,
he'll say anything to sell a book.
He's an attention whore. Yeah, absolutely.
And I say it with love. Like he's the only one who I feel like
I
has
don't.
been. Oh, you don't. But I will give him more respect, and it sounds like I'm giving him because he's at least honest about it. Like from day one, I knew that's what his deal was. Like I'm like, you're not hiding the fact that you're a little shady. Like he admits it. A lot of these other players, they don't admit it.
Right.
That's what I'll say. I'm giving him in that. You don't like Chris Todd.
No, we have issues. Here's the problem is that the Courtney Burgess thing, I think, well, you know what I think it is with Chris Todd? I think it's willful blindness. Like Courtney Burgess comes to you and says he has Kim Porter's memoir. He has one hard drive that contains her alleged memoir, right? That was written that he got a few days after her funeral. And Chris Todd gets it or he gets the thing and he reads it, and reading it, you have to know it's untrue. Right. So as you're reading it, it's just it's so over the top inflammatory. And there's people you're talking about. And really what he's done is you would think you would realize like, hey, all this guy did was take a bunch of rumors and try and weave it together. And a lot of the stuff doesn't make sense. If the dates don't actually make sense, like, hey, he came to my house. You didn't have a house like the house that Diddy bought her. At the time, he hadn't built the house yet. Like there's all kinds of things that don't make sense. And it's absolutely Courtney Burgess wrote the whole thing and thought he'd cash in on what's happening with Diddy. And he'd been trying to cash in for a while, and nobody was taking it seriously until eventually he and Wade connected with Wade Williams. Wade Williams put him together with Chris Todd, and he actually came to me first. Because I know nothing about hip hop, I said, bro, I know nothing about hip hop. It would take me too long to figure it out. I'd have to rewrite a bunch of the book. Even if I just took a bunch of excerpts, I'd be dumping a bunch of time into something I don't know anything about. And I don't want to talk about something I know nothing about. So I said, I'm not interested. And he said, well, what do you think about Chris Todd? And I said, well, I think he's a media whore. And I think I think that this is right up his alley. Like he doesn't mind. First of all, we don't know if it's true. And Wade was like, Wade said, I think that it's probably bullshit that she wrote it, but I think 80% of what it's in there is true. I just don't think she wrote it.
Right.
And I said, that won't slow Chris Todd down. So send it to Chris, see what he does. Gave it to Chris. Chris dragged his feet forever, but then Diddy's house gets raided. So then he puts something together right away. He publishes the book just right after Diddy gets arrested. And it's still, for 2 weeks, nothing. It sold 32 copies. So Wade says, hey, this thing's not selling. But nobody knows.
Oh, Chris is going to hate you giving Wade all the credit.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's what happened. This is just, there's timestamps. So, and I did a video. But so Wade goes, hey, man, he goes, look, these guys do not. First of all, Chris didn't even want his name on it.
Right.
He put Jamal whatever on it. Tupac's, alleged name he's living under, if he's still alive, whatever.
So dumb.
You guys are idiots. Anyway, point is that none of these guys, because it's so untrue, and they know it, Chris Todd didn't want his name associated with neither one. So Wade calls these two knuckleheads and says, look, do you guys mind if I won't mention your names? Because they were like, don't mention our names. Don't mention our names. Why would you say that? So he comes on my show. Wade and I do a podcast on it. A remote, right? Like a remote podcast. It gets 800 and something thousand views on a remote. I'm not sure. I don't have almost 1 million subscribers, by the way. So that was huge for us. That was like, oh my God. So then what happens is Chris Todd sees that it's suddenly, guess what? It starts selling. And I mean thousands of copies. They ended up selling almost 30,000 copies in about 3 weeks. So then Chris Todd, after 2 days, goes, oh my God, let's get some press. This is a business blowing up. So he immediately goes and he does an article with like some newspaper, some rag newspaper, but Hollywood rag bullshit. So he goes and does that, and that article gets a bunch of traction, and he uses his own name. And then he does another one, and then everybody wants to talk to Chris Todd. And then I do another
He did that Art of the Dialogue where it was just the Art of Dialogue guy fucked that interview up massively. It just was it made Chris look good.
I don't think anything makes Chris look good. But
that
I hear
was
what
the
you're
one
saying.
where he was so interrupting, and like Chris held his own, and that was the best I think Chris had.
Yeah. After that, well, once they started dismantling the book, but you have to understand that these people want to believe the book's true.
100%.
A lot of them. So the point is that I did another video that was big. Then I get Courtney Burgess on, but when I get Courtney Burgess on, we have a whole conversation where it's like, but now Courtney has changed it, by the way.
He's changed so many things.
It went from getting one disc afterward to getting multiple discs prior to, and now he's saying he got multiple discs at different points. But keep in mind, he says, but the Kim Porter manuscript I got like 4 years or 3 years before she died, but the manuscript is written up till the day she dies. So she's putting entries in till the day she dies, where she's like, I got pneumonia, he got me, that bastard's killed me, and the next day she's dead, or that day she's dead. Sorry.
My favorite was also Courtney when he's like, oh yeah, I kept the hard drive, or I threw it in the fire. It's like, how do you not know which one you did?
Well, and you have to understand, the whole time when he's talking about being raided and everything, he's texting me. Hey, I was raided today.
He's texting everybody. Yeah, he can't shut up.
Well, what happened was is that I got him to a point where I was like, so what you're saying is you have CP, you've watched the CP. I have a whole video where he's like, yeah. Well, I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched enough to know that. I'm like,
I missed this one.
Oh, it's great. You're watching this, you're watching that. And he's like, I'm like, so you still have it? Yeah, I got it. How'd you watch it? So you took the disc, you put it in your laptop, you've watched it on the laptop.
You got him to admit this in the video? Oh my God. How did no one send me this?
It's hilarious. I'll send it. It's hilarious. And he just...
not to disrespect you, I don't watch anybody, even my friends on YouTube. But Reyes, our beard lawyer, connected us here because we live so close. Yes. So I'm glad we did it. And now I've been checking more of your stuff. But I have to go back and watch this
I'll send this to you. It's great.
Please.
I'll give you the so you don't have to watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because it's Courtney, so it's horrible. So there's a lot of us cutting out him, oh yeah, well, what happened was, in the streets, stop it. So anyway, we get
He's fucked in that lawsuit, don't you think?
Oh, he's screwed.
Diddy they gave Diddy a massive win.
Yeah. I did a whole video, thank you, which probably got 50 or 100,000 views. I did a whole video on how you just handed, and by the way, you know what Chris Todd did?
I did a video with Chris Todd where I yelled at him and said you gave it Diddy. I didn't release it because I'm like, he was there promoting his new book. And I'm like, fuck this.
I cut that out. I'll cut that shit out. So you know what happened with Chris Todd? You know what he said? He goes, so you know what happened was so we're getting off on a tangent, but when Courtney came out, he told Chris Todd, here's the DVD, or here's the book, and Chris Todd ran with it. And he didn't.
There were never tapes, right?
No.
Yeah,
no.
that's
so. What happened was he told Chris Todd that there are tapes, and I have tapes with Bieber and Usher and all these things. Okay, fine.
Snoop Dogg. He called me and told me all these fake names. Yeah. Yes.
So Will Smith's son, and it's like he's just throwing them in there. So what happens is Chris Todd hears there are tapes. Willful blindness. He wants to believe it. Now he says, "Oh, I've seen screenshots. What you saw was the same screenshots that I saw are screenshots that are taken out of context of Diddy. You can't tell who's in them, and these are screenshots that have been on the internet for 10 years. So he sent you those. You didn't look into it because you don't look into anything you do." And you said, I've seen screenshot because it gave it validity. And then you went around to different media outlets trying to sell the tapes.
Well, he got even more sinister. He got Ariel Mitchell Kidd to go do it for him.
Right. And that started because prior to that, it was just Diddy is having these sex parties and there's videos. You started the rumor that there are underage children involved.
Correct.
And so you started that spin. And ultimately, and the government knew it, didn't have it, didn't shut you up, and the court didn't shut you up. So guess what? You've now given Diddy, all Diddy they have to do is get you two knuckleheads on the stand to admit what you did, and Diddy, it's going to look like a conspiracy, and you're going to give him a huge win. You just did a huge disjustice to what should have been a slam dunk case. So put that aside.
Because you're right. And this is a really good conversation because I think people need to hear this part, which is like
people don't want to hear this.
They don't want to hear because they want to accept the tapes are real.
You can't handle the truth. That's the problem.
There was a Bieber tape. If there was a Bieber fucking sex tape, the feds would be all over it. He would be in jail.
They'd have already put it out.
Diddy would be in jail. Yeah. That's my worry. They don't have this kind of shit. Diddy revealed when he leaked that there are 9 tapes. There are no celebrities. There's nobody drugged. So going back to what you said, just to reiterate, because I share this wholeheartedly with you, and the audience doesn't because they want to be salacious.
Oh, yeah.
But it's so depressing because that Ariel Mitchell kid who I had on the show and I pressed her, to me, what she did was incredibly illegal. She was on News Nation, basically extorting Justin Bieber on television. The Lord can't save you now. It was the language she did because he's very religious, Justin. Yeah. And this minor's on tape. The only way to stop it is to buy it. She said it like multiple times. And News Nation's sitting there like humoring this. And I'm like, what is happening?
Which is why they're part of the lawsuit.
100%. And honestly, I think they all should be sued. And I hope
they are being sued.
I'm saying I hope Diddy wins that one for actually. And it's the one now I'm like supporting Diddy on something because all those people did such a detriment to the case and to the actual victims. And like you said, they've now ballooned this into something else that the public has run with that is going to help Diddy when he argues and fights Cassie and whatever else. I don't even know what do they actually have against him? I'm dying to find out what the actual do you think there's a version where Diddy gets off?
I think that they've weakened his case considerably at this point. And I think that if he's smart, which he's not, because he's super arrogant, keeps thinking he's going to get out of jail. He thinks he's going to get out of jail and he's going to be able to work deals out with all these witnesses and shut the whole thing down. In his mind, he's probably
still in that,
but he's probably if his lawyers are smart, but they're not.
They're not either.
What the lawyers are trying to do is get him to pay them as much money, go to trial with that money, put on a half-ass case and have him go to fucking prison for 30 or 45 years.
And just cash out.
And kick back. They'll fight a 2255 and an appeal and a 2255. They'll get the rest of his money. They'll sell off everything he has. And the lawyers will end up with everything. And he'll be begging people to send money to his commissary account so he can keep these guys from extorting him, or these guys to pay these guys that are extorting him. Anyway, the point is...
That's I think you just nailed it on the head.
If he was smart, they would go forward and they'd say, look, let us take a 10 or 15 year deal. Let's get it down. They're going to say 30. You argue it down to 20. You do a media campaign. You try and get it down to 20. Maybe he gets 20 or 15. On 20 years, he'll do 12. He's already done it almost a year. You know what I'm saying? Like at this point, he already realizes by this point, if I need to get out of this holdover and get to prison, because prison's 10 times better.
But what is the charge that you think they're going to get him on realistically? Because
I think he's got some gun charges. That's the big thing. Is the reason they're so confident and they're probably not offering him deals is he's got gun charges. He's got
a lot of guns.
Yes.
With unmarked.
Yes. You've got a lot of.
But what about the trafficking and the racketeering and all that stuff? Because it's like he's going to make the argument. Well, they were all consensual. Yeah, they were all adults.
I mean, but they're going to put 12 people on the stand that are all going to say the same thing. Plus, they've already got them on the guns. And the jury's going to believe them. He's sitting at the defendant's stand. They've heard all the rumors. They're probably waiting for.
It's true. The feds probably enjoyed all the rumors spreading because it only helped them seem like they had even more than they do.
Right. And keep in mind too, by the way, when Courtney got called to testify in front of the grand jury, by that point he had told me he'd been raided twice and that the feds had taken the file or taken the discs. They took them. He then went in front of the grand jury and said he threw them away.
Yes.
He then got called back. At this point, Ariel knows he's lying. He said this is a conflict. That's why when on News Nation, when they're like, so you got raided, and she was like, wait, let's clarify. He's already saying, yeah. And they said, no. And she's like, let's clarify that. That's not a raid. Mm-hmm. They simply served a subpoena. And then they're saying she keeps saying he had.
And then Chris Todd's calling everybody, oh, he got raided. He got raided.
She keeps calling everybody saying, she keeps clarifying what he's saying. She keeps saying, he used to be in possession. He used to be in. So it makes people are thinking the feds got it. But the truth is, they then call him back again. By the time they call him back again, they're trying to get him to clarify that that he threw away the because now they've caught him in multiple lies when he got the tapes. So now they're going to bring him back and get him. She shuts it down and says, no, he's going to plead the fifth. Because now they're like, we've already got him on record once saying this. Now he's come up with videos that say are contrary, which is that the feds took the tape. They know he already told them that he threw them away. So now they're going to get him to come back and admit, well, why is it that a few days afterward you said this? How come? Now they're going to clarify things. Now they got him on the record. They're going to get him for perjury. They're going to get him for lying to a federal officer. They're going to get him for all kinds of different violations, and they're going to get him charged. That's what they should have done. They should have charged him. The government's only recourse at this point is to charge this guy, and they haven't.
Yeah.
What something? He is being sued. Yeah, there's some major
for Courtney.
For Courtney.
Yeah.
For Courtney.
No, 100%.
No, I think with Diddy, his best bet, take 15 or 20 years. You could get it down to 15 or 20 at this point because of Courtney Burgess. Take 10 or 15 years, go to prison, do all the programs. Don't take the charge, the essay, any of the essay charges, because you're not going to be able to program and get time off.
Right.
So take the gun charges, take the RICO. Don't do anything that has to sign anything, including enhancements that have anything to do with anything sexual in nature, and then you can program, and you'll be out in 10 or 12 years.
Smart. I'll have to get you to come by my studio to tell that story again.
That's the best.
I think you're spot on that.
Okay.
Really quick, you guys keep referencing this lawsuit with Courtney in the media. Is there there's a
just
lawsuit?
came out. He
Yeah.
got sued. He got sued. His lawyer got sued. News media got sued.
News Nation.
I'm sorry, News Nation.
News
News
Nation,
Media.
Ariel, and Courtney. Not Chris Todd. Chris Todd somehow didn't get involved in that lawsuit.
Chris Todd's probably a witness.
Yeah, I guess he probably he's
probably
made a deal.
behind it,
He
saying, "You
probably
need to
already
sue
made a
these
deal.
They are bad people.
Yeah.
Well, listen, in Chris Todd,
I got swindled. I had no idea. It's true.
As much as whatever this guy is, hack. This guy is. The thing is,
I didn't say that, Chris. Don't come after me, bro.
He's harmless. I don't know how he makes it. He's got to have a day job, right? Because nobody buys his books. Like, if you look at if you ever gone on and look at the reviews, there's 13 people left to review. 6
I don't know
people
what he's
left.
thinking with that new book, or he named everybody. Who wants to read his fan fiction?
Well, he and Courtney are working on a book together.
Well, all I know is Chris just released a new one with a whole bunch of weird misnamed people.
You know that supposedly, this is what I'm hearing.
Why did the Amazon book get pulled?
Okay, so it got pulled because a cease and desist was sent to Amazon.
Okay, from the kids.
No. Initially it was from
because there's a lot of books on there making allegations.
Albie Shore.
Oh, that's right. It was Albie Shore. I did know that one. Yeah.
Albie Shore sent it saying that there was litigation, cease and desist, or you're gonna be a part of the you can be a
So
witness.
Amazon just pulled it to be because of an actual lawsuit that came in.
Correct. And that was the
Because
problem.
legally, there probably is an argument that it could have been up there. Don't you think?
Oh, it absolutely could have been. Listen, Amazon
and they would have
pulling
made a fortune.
I can already tell you I know exactly what they did make.
It was like millions of dollars, right?
No, it sold over $1.5 million worth of. But keep in mind, if you sell a $22 book, you get $7.
Right. Okay.
So, but what they made, I would love to be able to duplicate their success. Listen, good, nice. So we're talking about. I'll tell you later. Anyway, the point is that I in Chris Todd's defense, I think Chris Todd, although I do believe it's willful blindness, I don't think he looked into it. And I think that he got approached by Wade and Courtney. He started working with Courtney. Courtney said he had all these tapes. He wanted it to be true. He started shopping them. At some point, though, he had to realize that Courtney doesn't have the tapes.
Right.
Courtney wouldn't show them to him, wouldn't send him anything. And they put out the book. He wanted the book to be, whether it's true or not, I don't know. And he wanted it to be true. It started selling. It's the most success he's ever had in his life. times about
He
100.
got a very big head from it.
Yes, got a big head from it for a guy who was already an arrogant prick. So he goes, so he does this whole thing, and but I think that it was willful blindness. I don't think he looked into it like he should have, but I don't think that he knew 100% that it wasn't. He probably thought it wasn't true, or it might be true, but he
just didn't care. He saw the money.
He didn't care. And the person telling, like, you're telling me,
because he wanted to sell the movie rights. That was the next thing.
Yeah, which was never going to happen. You don't own it. And in his mind, he's thinking that I copywrote it.
No.
So I own the copyright. Like, you don't own. I can copyright anything as long as it's not already copywritten. So
it's not Chris Todd's life story.
No, Chris, stop. I loved it when the whole time when they were like, well, you're going to get sued. He's like, well, if you want to sue Jeff Bezos, go ahead. It's like, Chris, they're not going to sue Jeff Bezos. They're going to file a cease and desist. They're going to take the book down.
Correct.
And I even have texts of me telling him, yo, bro, I think you've got some issues here. I think they're going to sue you, and they're going to get the book taken down and this and that. And he's like, well, they want to sue Jeff Bezos. And he's saying this stuff in text. And listen, within 4 days, the book is down.
Yeah.
It's like, boom, the book's down. It's like, I told you,
Poor
you've
Chris.
got some issues. It's the arrogance that,
Well, he's just pumping out books now because you're right, because he saw the success. Like, oh, I can do, and it's like it wasn't about he lost focus. It was never about Kim for him, and that's why it sold, because it was allegedly Kim's words.
Yes, yes.
And he totally manipulated that, used that to his advantage to make a payday, and then he didn't realize that he needed to actually care about the justice of it. If he had done that, and even if he exposed Courtney, he could have probably figured out a way to write the next book and actually built a good persona online that would have helped him. And his books and his reporting.
Well, the problem is I don't think any of this has hurt him. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think he had a great name to begin with. But I think that it probably got him, obviously got him more publicity.
More attention, more people know who he is.
He's probably going to sell a lot more books for this. He can solve the Menendez parents' murder, find out who really murdered them. Hit their parents.
For every case, he's going to figure out who really did it.
He's going to figure out, for every case, every solved case out there, he's going to figure out who really did it.
It wasn't Brian Laundrie after all.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It's like Kurt Cobain, wrote a note. There's a video. People were in the room. And he's going to find out who really killed him.
There's some pretty big theories against Courtney.
No, I'm just saying, in general, that's how bad it could be. Like, there could be a video of the guy doing it himself. He's going to I'm going to find out who really did it. Yeah. But he's he'll probably, this probably was the biggest thing ever for him, and he'll probably make something of it,
And God bless him.
God
Exactly.
bless him.
I'm not here to judge him. Go get your money, Chris.
Yeah, he won't be on this program again. And I'm not saying because of me. I'm saying because we despise each other at this point. But yeah.
He seems to have that effect on a lot of people.
He does. A lot of people despise him.
I'm still go with him. I'm not gonna burn.
Listen, I'll tell you what happened with us real quick. Is that, listen to this. And by the way, I'm sure he's taking 100% credit for this, what I'm about to tell you, although it had nothing to do with him.
All the dirty laundry, all the dirty Diddy laundry exposed.
It's all coming out about Chris Todd. Chris. Anyway, what's so funny is...
Wait, you need this for the promo at the beginning. Chris Todd did what?
Yeah, exactly.
You got that? Time code that, because it's going to get juicy.
So what happened is we did a video about, how he solved the Ron Goldman
case,
and who killed Ron Goldman and
Nicole
who
Simpson.
killed Nicole Simpson.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. So he solved the case, which in the end, by the way, is still OJ. It's funny because, like, you didn't solve anything. You threw another party in there. Like, So anyway, we do a whole video.
Oh, it really is? Because I never even read it. He's always claiming he solved the case.
He told me about it.
But it's still OJ? Well, what's the claim?
The claim is that this is what's really killed me. OJ owed the mob $50,000, so they sent kind of a mob associate with him to collect the money to rob his ex-wife to get the money to pay the mob.
Okay, well, it's a theory.
OJ couldn't come up with $50,000?
Yeah, that's hard to believe. At that phase before he was a murderer, he would have easily been able to get $50,000.
You don't have a credit card? Like, you go swipe a credit card.
You could go do another, what's that? The gloves commercial, and he would have made that. Isotoners commercial. He was
a drug addict. He's saying he had a drug problem.
But still, he could have made another Naked Gun. He wasn't a murderer at that point.
No. He could have done 2 golf pros, played at 2 tournaments and easily made it.
Well, now that you've exposed the theory, I'm not as into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
I heard about his son.
Just about
Did
to
you
buy
hear the
that.
theory about the son?
Yes.
That seems more interesting to me. That
Yeah.
his son was there and he was just covering up his son's violent rage.
And if Chris Todd was a better writer, he would have gone with that angle, but he didn't. So anyway,
That's a better angle, right?
Yeah.
I
Which
told
is-
him that angle. He's like, no. But yeah, that's
which
a
is
better
so
angle.
funny because after the video came out, like people that Chris Todd talked about were emailing me saying that's not true. Chris Todd lied about that. There are more texts. Like Chris Todd like talks about a text and that's the last text I got. And the guy's like, that's bullshit. I can send you screenshots of the text because it continues on and on. Chris Todd just cuts it off at that point. So anyway, whatever. The point is that Chris Todd comes on, he talks about OJ. In the whole thing, at one point, I'm like, well, why haven't they come out with this? And Chris Todd goes, I don't know, maybe they're waiting for OJ to die.
And he says specifically, maybe if OJ dies tomorrow,
Okay,
that will come
Wow.
out. He says that very specifically. If OJ dies tomorrow, maybe something will come out, or maybe they'll run with it then.
And then OJ dies.
So here's what happened. Colby edits the video. Was that in the little hook at the beginning?
No, that
No,
was just
okay.
a part in the middle. But it was it was edited and just put on standby.
Right.
Basically,
So he put it on standby. You know why? Because most of our StreamYards, if we'll have a lot of, we try and play the in-person videos, right? We try and post the in-person videos. And then, so let's say we put this video out and it gets 8,000 views. And we realize within the first day, it's like, okay, this thing's it dies tomorrow. Tomorrow it gets 3,000 views and it's dead. Well, we don't want to have 3,000 views on a new video for the channel. So Colby, am I giving away anything? No. So Colby will drop a StreamYard video that he thinks might do okay because it's worth at least another 5 to 10,000 because they don't StreamYard. I mean, sorry, remote podcasts obviously don't do that well. They don't have as good of a chance as an in-person video. So he'll drop it just to keep our numbers up, right? To kind of keep the revenue up. So he'll drop it. So what happens is we had a video that didn't do great. And Colby was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just go ahead and drop that one from Chris Todd. And he drops it. Which
Boom.
and OJ, he drops it. And like an hour after or an hour before, whatever, he dropped it, the family announces OJ Simpson just died. And it was
the day before.
That's why. And
Oh,
Chris
you
Todd
dropped it the
predicted
day
I got the
before?
day before, and it did okay and stopped. But then remember, you called me the next day
Wow.
after the video had already.
I thought he dropped it. That's how
Anyway,
much I
but
paid
Chris Todd
attention.
called it, and then literally he
because
dies the next
he
day.
predicted. And the thing is, it was
up. And it has nothing to do. It has nothing to do with OJ's death or anything. It got what 800,000. What's it? It's got
it was over 500,000. Like
Wow.
it had already done 20,000 flattened out for that 24 hours already done, and then
Jeez.
yeah, and then Matt called me. He was like, "You'll never believe this," and then sure enough, it just picked up a second leg.
Do you know what's so funny is I was driving to the doctor and I had my phone clicked on, my wife had this, her old car had this, one of those things that holds your phone. And I don't know where I'm going. So I'm watching the map, right? I'm driving, okay. And I hear, it's like ding, I get the push notifications on when people leave comments, ding, okay. Ding.
Ding, 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 ding,
Ding, ding, ding. A little bit. Ding. And I'm like, so I'm listening to this for like 15 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Now, I don't really pay attention because sometimes people will go on like your social media and they'll just like everything you have. So you get these bing, bing, you get these
I had to
notifications.
turn that alert off.
Right.
It's too annoying.
I don't because, it makes me feel good about
Exactly.
myself. So
Even though you have such a big dick.
yeah, I've never said that. Look at this. That's a lie. Look at the size of my hands. That's something he came up with. My wife she'll tell you that's not true. So, trust me, she's mentioned it. So
That's a different story. You have to go find it on the podcast.
it's one of those comments where when your wife says, yours is perfect, the big ones hurt. And you're like, I'm all about productivity, feeling energized, and staying strong, no matter how old I get. But let's face it, aging can slow you down. That's why I started taking Qualia Senolytic. As we get older, our bodies pick up these things called senescent cells or zombie cells that can make you feel stiff, tired, and achy. These cells take up space and suck nutrients from the healthy cells we need. But that's where Qualia Senolytic can help. Qualia Senolytics help remove those dead cells so the healthy ones can thrive. It's like hitting the reset button on your body. Qualia Senolytics is vegan, non-GMO, gluten-free, and the ingredients are all about working together to support your health. The best part is you only have to take it 2 days a month, and they have a 100-day money-back guarantee. So if you want to feel younger and boost your energy, go to qualialife.com/true and get up to 50% off. Use code TRUE for an extra 15% off your order. Try it risk-free with a 100-day money-back guarantee. Trust me, your future self will thank you, and thank you to Qualia for sponsoring today's episode. So anyway, so it's going be. It's going not that bad, but it was going. And then finally, somebody sent me one where it was a friend, like it was a message, a text, and I was like, okay, let me hit. I hit this, and somebody goes, "Yo, bro, I don't know if you realize this or not. You put out a video, I guess yesterday, and about O.J. Simpson, and his." An hour ago or 20 minutes ago, his family notified everybody that he just died.
That's crazy.
And they're like, it looks like your video's like blowing up. And I was like, oh my God. And it did great for us. It did great.
Yeah, fuck OJ. I mean,
I'd love to give Chris Todd some credit for that, but I won't.
It's Colby.
I'll give you no credit. Had nothing to do with you. Hey, it really had nothing to do with Colby. It was a fluke.
Now I'm giving you the props, Colby. I see you back there.
Yeah, it was sitting in the YouTube studio for like 2 weeks.
You're like,
And it just so
it's
happened.
whoever's video before it failed. It's really their doing.
The timing is important. Kind of what you're talking about, the Will Smith video earlier. When Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, I had a little parody channel. And I just, it happened at like 11 o'clock at night. And I uploaded an 8-minute video explaining why it was all staged. Immediately after, and this is a channel with like 20,000 subscribers, and it got like 300,000 views overnight.
Oh yeah, I was watching it live on the Oscars, and I stopped watching, ran up, turned my studio on, and filmed it. 1 million hits that day. Yeah, I was on it.
I was gonna say, knowing you're walking out with your wife to dinner.
I'm like, no dinner,
and you see it, and you turn around, and she's like, okay,
it's happened. She knows. Yeah,
she pulls out some TV dinners and knows that we're not making it to Outback.
I can't do it. OJ just died. I gotta go make a video. Yeah, sadly that happens. Yes.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah.
Usually it's Chili's, not Outback.
No,
yeah.
Do people go to Chili's?
Yeah, my kids like it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The fajitas aren't bad.
Yeah. What's funny is my wife is from a town called Okeechobee, and I think the nicest restaurant in all of Okeechobee I think it's Chili's.
Yeah, no, it's not the nicest restaurant.
No,
I would choose a million restaurants over Chili's, but when the family goes out, the kids pick Chili's, and I've gotten used to the chicken shrimp fajita combo. It's a good one.
You got to have Ronnie Bo on. See, now he'll see this and he'll be like, yeah, thanks for going to the bat for me.
I got no issue with Ronnie Bo, but I've been slammed. My booker has been talking to Ronnie Bo. I've gotten somebody to help do my correspondence now because it eats up too much time. Not that I'm too important, but I want to be creating and working on the stories. And sometimes dealing with the talent can bog you down. And so, yeah, I don't have Ronnie has not been on due to lack of interest. I didn't know the whole story. Plus I heard he couldn't talk about the Jay-Z stuff, and
he can now.
Now that I hear that, we'll have to try to, I'll have the booker get back out, and
actually on February 5th,
shout out to Michelle who's been in touch with Ronnie to hook that up.
On February 5th, he's going for his probation revocation hearing. So at that point, but he basically
had him in town. We should have done a combo.
Yeah,
we'll have to do it. We have to book up our guests now that we know that we're so close.
Yeah,
we could help.
He's actually going to be fine on the revocation, so he's fine now. If you flew him in now, but we're so close.
I don't have the same remote versus thing. Doesn't matter to me. I've conditioned my audience.
Yeah,
we use Zoom so much now that it doesn't really matter.
Our guys are spoiled.
Yeah, no, I mean it's such a better experience when you can be there, but it's hard being in Tampa Bay to get people to come out.
And we've noticed with trending topics, the in-person versus StreamYard isn't as important.
Correct. That's where we're trending is what we.
But if somebody's telling their own story, it almost has to be in person because if they're just a normal guy who doesn't have that celebrity clickability and it's just going to go off their quality of their story.
That. If you're just going strictly off the guest, I do believe that.
He's at 391 right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that was just posted.
That's today.
Yeah,
I haven't checked. We're comparing stats.
No, we're I wasn't, but
First we were doing
and look
dick
at this
sizes.
thumbnail.
Now we're doing.
Look at the thumbnail.
I'm just curious how mine did.
Colby did a great
Oh yeah,
thumbnail.
see, I did beat you. Look at that.
Colby did
427
what? Oh yeah, well that's
last night.
I don't have your viewers, and I'm not a trendy.
I wasn't trying to be. You started it. What
I'm
is
just
your
saying he's
what
doing
is
great.
what is your sub count?
550.
That's good.
580.
Yeah,
547. 547.
There's nothing bad about that.
No, listen.
Yeah, you guys crush it.
Listen, this is great. I don't have to have a real job. I get to schedule stuff.
You
I
pay
get to
him well.
talk to he talking to me. He's
Hey,
the-
yeah, we
I'm lucky. I'm just the talent. I mean,
Okay, good. Yeah, yeah.
I don't have to do anything.
Oh, smart.
All I do is every once in a while he'll send me a.
Yeah, I don't have a Colby. That's my thing.
Oh no!
I mean, well, actually, that's not true. They just work remotely. I don't have somebody in studios. What I mean.
He'll send me like a something. He'll put it up and put the thumbnał up, and I'll look it out and be
I'm
like,
too
"Yo,
much of
bro."
a control freak. I need to like do
Well,
it
that's
all.
what I'm saying. Every once in a while, I'll be like, "Bro, you couldn't get a better fucking picture of me. Like you got me. Like this looks horrible. Like what are you doing?" And he's like, "No, I thought it was funny." No, it's not funny. What we're going for is cool guy. Cool guy is what we're going for.
okay.
And he's
Yeah,
like, "Yeah, I have to remind him of that."
Yeah, Matt's like, I have an image to
Yeah.
uphold.
Oh wow. Yeah, I literally. That's like the one thing I cannot do. Is care about my image. I'm like, I just the only thing is like, is my hair sticking out? That's why I wear the hat, because I'll have bedheads some mornings, and I'm like, a hat just always covers up the hair. You don't have to worry about it. But then I think I'm bald.
You live like if you drive down the street, it dead ends, and then there's a cow pasture. If we walked through the cow pasture,
We
you live
literally
6 or 8 houses
We
down.
literally could walk probably faster than it took me to drive.
Yeah.
But what a small world.
Yeah.
Shout out again to Ray's Beard Lawyer. Check him out on Instagram. Good dude. I'm glad
Yeah.
you got to come out and be here.
Yeah. He was.
He's got a really good insight.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
definitely should. If you, I don't know how, like sharing guests, booking guests.
For
if
sure.
they want to come down.
I
Like,
know, for real.
yeah.
If we hook each other up, it'll be nice. Plus, it gives the talent if they're coming down here another thing to do. So use us as you like, and I will happily. We don't really bring people in, but if I
Yeah.
do,
Or-
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Last thing you want is to end the podcast, have Colby bolt and leave some guy sitting on my couch for 3 hours that I'm sitting here waiting for his Uber
Yeah.
to come so he'll go to the airport. And I'm just sitting there thinking,
That is
That happened.
awkward.
That happened
What
one
just
time at
happened?
5:00. Matt's like, "Are you gonna leave me here with this guy?" I'm like, "It's
and
5
Colby's
o'clock."
like, gotta go. And I'm like,
Sorry, have fun.
no
Yeah,
empathy
when your
at
studio
all.
is your house. I can relate.
Yeah, or
Fuck.
yeah. Hopefully this helps. You have 800, 900,000, but it
It's
hopefully
not
gives
gonna
you.
help. Yeah, it's not gonna help him.
Let's just say it helps you.
No,
yeah,
it,
'cause-
no, it totally does. You have a new audience of true crimers that I need, and then we'll have to have you on to support
yeah,
back.
you guys could probably.
With no reason we can't
'Cause
do some back and
the
forth.
trending topics is something that we decided we need to focus on a little bit more.
Oh, listen, we're. I'll be honest with you. We're about to create a trending topic. I'm about to create. I write books.
Oh yeah, you like Chris Todd.
No. Although this is
Now I know how to really get your button pushed.
This is a Chris Todd book in the vein of following Chris Todd's lead on investigative journalism. I am currently writing a book with a friend of mine who does amazing research
Okay,
on whether or not Garth Brooks is a serial killer.
interesting.
Yeah,
As Chris
you-
Gaines. Is that his name?
Chris Gaines is in there. Oh, that's not normal.
No,
That's not normal. We got a whole thing on Chris Gaines.
super weird.
So you ever heard the theory that Tom Segura on who that is? That's so he came up with a theory. He says, "I'm just repeating what I heard." Stop it, Tom. I found no evidence prior to him joking about this. He and his wife were on their podcast, Your Mom's House, and they were talking about how odd Garth Brooks is. Keep in mind how old are you? Are you about my age? No, you're in your 40s, right?
I love you to guess.
I'm gonna say 45.
Wow! Ding 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 ding.
Okay, so I'm a little older than you. I really kind of remember when Garth Brooks came out, right? I'm 55.
I remember Garth Brooks. So yeah.
Okay.
My dad was a fan.
Okay.
Like that little shade.
We're gonna. So when he came out, there wasn't social media.
No.
So
no.
any interviews you saw of him lasted 20 or 30 seconds, where he was just shucks golly, we're gonna be at the Civic Center this Saturday, and that's it. He did the shucks golly gee whiz thing, and that was it. Well, then a few years ago, he actually, obviously late to the game, he started doing social media, and he started doing Facebook. This is about 6 or 7 years ago. So 4 or 5 years ago, Tom Segura and his wife start watching some of the videos talking about like how socially awkward this guy is. If you watch the videos, I'm telling you, very awkward. He's an odd guy.
Yeah.
You know, great music. I grew up on his music. I love country music. I'm from Florida. I loved Garth Brooks, but he's socially awkward. So Tom Segura ends up saying, she's like, what do you think's wrong with him? He goes, I'll tell you what's wrong with him. He's worried about all the bodies he's got buried underneath his house. That's what he's got. So he says something along those lines. She goes, you think he's a killer? And he goes, absolutely. He's killed at least 200 or 300 people. And they're like, good cover though, doing the whole tour thing. And that. So it becomes this huge running joke. It's a joke. And then Tom Segura's fan base starts going after Garth Brooks's comment section saying, where are the bodies, Garth? Oh, it's bad. People have gone to his concert.
Well, now there's these allegations.
Well, and obviously it's satire. But they will go to his concert and hold up a sign that's like, we love Garth. And when the Jumbotron hits him, they drop the sign. There's another one that says, where are the bodies, G? And then they do stuff like guys are like, bro, I want my grandmother back. You know, just tell me where she is, Garth. We need to bury the body.
Does he embrace and laugh about it?
Oh, no.
He hates it.
He doesn't think it's funny at all.
Oh, that's a big red flag.
Yes. And so when people come to Garth, and they say, hey, did you hear about this thing with Tom Segura? What do you think about that? He pulls out a video of Tom Segura that's online, where Tom Segura is playing basketball, and he goes to do a layup, and he slips and falls and breaks his arm. He'll hold it up and he'll go, karma. And so then the guy that happened with that conversation tells Tom Segura, and he goes, do you imagine the irony of a serial killer saying karma to me breaking my arm? He's a sick person.
So now he's leveled in even harder.
This has been going on for years.
Blake Lively needs to take notes. Exactly. This is not how you take.
This is not how you do it. You understand that, like, Segura goes on Rogan, they have a conversation about it. Like, this is
now
everywhere.
It's gotten huge, right?
And so what ends up forming from this is that fans start saying, you do understand that there's a list out there that's going around that has all of Garth Brooks's tour dates that line up with missing persons and unsolved murders. And they're like, and it lines up in almost every single venue he's had. This is what's happening. So what I end up doing a video with a girl by the name of Stacey Lee. Stacey Lee did a video about about the Tom Segura and the Garth Brooks thing. And she tells me, she's like, I actually tried to find the list. There is no list. And I've looked, there's no list. And so is Pete. She said, there's no list. She goes, and I actually started to do the list. Spent a few hours doing it. She goes, and honestly, it's a mammoth task. This guy has done over 1,000 concerts.
Yeah, I would say.
And
worldwide.
So she's like, and then I watched another video. After that, I watched another video. Another person said, yeah, they started the process, and they were like, yeah, it's just too much. I don't have this kind of time. It's not that funny to me. But they're not as sick as I am. And they're not, these people are not, don't
So
have.
you're making the list.
The list is done. He's a fucking monster, bro. You know how I feel writing this? I feel like I'm doing God's work. I'm saving lives.
Chris, you pay attention? That's a good hook for a book.
I am saving lives. You and I have our little shows.
It's smart because you're writing the book, and then you're going to get on the podcast promoting the book.
Listen, there's at least, I'm telling you right now, there's 120 some odd missing people along the route.
So your goal is to get Tom here in studio, of course.
No, I want to go on top. Him coming here doesn't help me. Me going there.
Yeah,
listen, we're going to read the book. The book's going to be done in about 3 months.
Brilliant marketing.
Not just that. I've uncovered a serial killer. It is phenomenal. I can't believe that Segura stumbled onto this.
Did you tie it into the allegations at all? Because there was a lot of weird reactions to his allegations against the rapist.
Absolutely. It's all. Listen, we got other lawsuits too. We got stuff in this book people don't even know about. Segura's fans haven't even found it. It is over the top. It's a done deal. The FBI should have a task force right now.
Wow.
It's over. It's done. It's done. Sick. He's a monster.
Brilliant. I'm like that. You've sold me. I'm in. I will buy it when it's ready. Promote it when you have it.
Yeah. I already have the jacket cover.
Oh, this is just showing me, or you've shown everybody?
No, I've never. No, I don't think I've shown anybody.
Oh, then just show me. I'll react without them seeing it.
You don't even have to pretend to react. You're gonna be like, I already know, because I can tell you've got some darkness in you. Hold on.
Oh, that is good. Just the name is great. I get I love that.
Do you know what that's from? Do you ever see American Psycho?
Yeah.
That's the poster for American Psycho.
Yeah. Wow. That is good.
Yeah.
That poster's badass. He's not lying. That is hype.
I'm telling you.
I have a good sense of when things take off that you got that's a good one. Chris Todd is going to be so jealous of your book sales on that one.
Matt was talking to me for about, every time I come over here, I get here about 30 minutes before the podcast starts, and every time.
I'm so excited. He's heard some of the same stories 2 or 3 times already.
And you're pumped too.
He just Colby
I'm just hoping we get, he goes on the Tom Segura, the podcast does better.
Yeah.
Go to the podcast.
It's a good
Colby doesn't care about my feelings or about saving lives.
He wants more numbers.
He just wants to hit 1 million. And
he's
he wants
incentivized. That's how you got to keep him engrossed. Exactly.
Yeah. What I think the whole, and my whole marketing campaign is like, go on your show, get on some other shows that push it, and then have TikTok take it and run with it. And then get on Segura.
Or you want Segura to mention it on Rogan is really what you want.
Oh yeah, well,
which is very possible, dude. They wrote a book about they're going to do it.
You understand that there's tons of videos out there right now, and all they've got.
Can you get a forward from him? Can you get a forward from him?
I already took his what he says.
No, but you should reach out to him, send him a copy,
right?
Get him on board for the release.
Well, here's the thing. I know about 3 comedians that know someone that is friends with Segura.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's difficult.
Dude, he'll be like, "Are you nuts? This is hilarious."
Well, what I'm saying is that right now there's already a ton of people that are doing videos and things on them, and they have nothing but a couple of jokes. I've got an entire book.
No,
I've researched
if you've actually done research, regardless, you have enough there that I think Segura's going to be excited to like, oh my God, look what this is now created. I would reach out to him directly and try to get a forward. So Forward by Tom Segura makes it way more of a big deal. And then
a lot more fun.
You get in touch with him and you release the marketing plan with him so he can.
Oh, he'd get so much content out of this.
I'm sure he tours, right? He'll come to Tampa Bay. Doesn't he do the clubs here in Tampa?
I'm sure.
You could come, like, have him come here. His fans, you do want him here because the fans will come watch that show, and then you pop up on his.
I can't imagine that Segura would walk in here and do a show with me, but that's fine. But it's funny because you know what's funny is that people come here and they're like, "Bro, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe." You get that like, "Oh my God!" Like they're like, "I'm such a huge fan," and I'm sitting there just thinking to myself like, "I've got a studio in my living room. I just got out of prison." Listen, when 6 months before I'm getting out of prison, I'm laying in bed thinking, you're going to work at McDonald's, you're going to live in someone's spare room, you're going to be appreciative, you're going to be humble, and you're going to live. That's how you're going to do your rest of your fucking life.
But here's what you're going to promise me: don't let the YouTube success get to your head and make you do shitty things again. Yes.
No. Oh yeah. Trust me. I have a wife that's constantly grounding me.
Okay. Good.
Some people will come up to me like, "Bro, you're amazing."
Yeah. If you use your superpowers for good.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. People will say like, "You're amazing," and my wife will be like, "He doesn't know you. Do you understand? Do you understand what I was like?" Yeah, I understand. Just another scumbag. Okay, I know. You've mentioned it.
Yeah, no, but you've been crushing it. Congrats. And I think Tom Segura could come into your house and do this. It'll be that book is funny.
Pretty cool.
And if the book's like you say it is, I can't imagine he's not going to chuckle and say, "Let's make this happen."
I had 22,000 words already. My buddy's already written another like 5 or 6. We're going to have a 45. We're going to have it's going to be about 200 pages, but I've got the entire list, and not just the list of the tour dates. I have every place he's moved, the unsolved mystery, and I didn't just put like unsolved homicides and
save it
and missing persons.
Yeah.
We've excluded, like, if there was a witness and they said, "Oh, it was a black guy," we excluded it. It's the police believe it's
unsolved murders connected to all his tour dates. You've done the work.
We've already done all the work.
Wow.
And listen, it was months. It's a lot. Even getting all of the tour dates right is a lot of work.
Right.
Not to mention we have the Grant when he was at the Grammys. Those poor guys.
This is going to become a documentary.
Yeah, he told me about one this morning that was pretty good. I think you save it for the book.
Dude, get in with Segura now.
I mean, listen, it's practically a description of Garth Brooks where this chick disappeared. It is. God. I'm telling my wife, and my wife
Be careful. Garth is going to watch this clip and go, he knows.
Oh, yeah.
He's found the evidence.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not that I'm not concerned. Yeah.
So I don't want to be like a Chris Todd, but if you die tomorrow, main suspect is Garth Brooks.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. He'll do
I'm
his
not
whole
wishing that.
Golly
Please.
gee woods, shucks fat cowboy thing.
You have a
stumble in
tendency to
here
have
and
predict celebrity deaths here on this channel, so I don't want to follow the trend.
Yeah.
Hopefully I'm protecting you now because now Garth knows if he comes and murders you now,
Yeah.
it's way too close.
Well, when Segura first started that, there was a huge drop in missing persons cases when he first mentioned it because Garth got scared.
I love that.
That's true. It's true. There's a
it's-
video on it.
He stopped murdering people because he's like, damn it.
You have to look
And then
into this.
when was the next one? How long until
Yeah,
he waited?
it took a few months before it started ticking back up. And listen to this. I'm going to tell you one more thing. We'll get off the subject because I'm so excited about it. But listen, I'm going to tell you one thing. When he first starts off doing his tours, he does like the state fairs, right? Mm-hmm. There's one or two missing persons and a few unsolved murders during that 2 or 3 year period of time. But then the amount drastically go up. So here's why. When Garth gets his first check after he does an album called Rope in the Wind, when he does he gets his first check for about $500,000. Does he buy a luxury, a $200,000 Ferrari or a souped-up truck? Does he get a luxury penthouse in downtown Nashville? No. He spends nearly $500,000, everything he made, $432,500 to buy 13 acres of unimproved land. And guess what happens immediately after when he goes on tour? Missing persons.
So you think they're buried in his land?
Of course.
That seems a little risky.
Of course. He's running an unlicensed cemetery.
That's the first place you'd look. All the evidence would
if
be
you
right there.
suspected him, you're not gonna suspect Garth Brooks. Now, I'm not saying there's not a bunch of unsolved homicides too. Of course there are. But now he's got an opportunity where I can take the bodies and possess them.
Wow.
And then I can dispose of them.
Now he's going to have to move the bodies now that you've spotlighted this.
I mean, I wouldn't feel comfortable.
You
if I
should
was
have
him.
somebody constantly on the eyes on the ground on that field.
We're gonna get somebody. We're gonna
Garth,
get somebody.
Damn. You are on this case. Woo!
Yeah, it's not. Yeah. Hey, you guys, I appreciate you watching the video. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get notified of videos just like this. Also, please check in the description box. We're going to leave Popcorn Planet links so that you can go there and you can check out Popcorn Planet. And
Pleasure to be here.
Pleasure to be here. We're thrilled. Thank you.
Go subscribe to this man. We got to get him to 1 million subs.
Yeah.
Hit the
No,
buttons.
that's you. That's you.
Both of us. Let's get us
I'm
all
not-
to 1
I'm-
million.
listen,
You're close.
No,
You've been
I'm
crushing
not.
it.
I'm
Oh no, you got to
550.
act
I'm
like
about
you're
close to-
there.
Oh,
Act like
I'm
you're
this close to a million.
Yeah.
That's not true. That's a lie. So anyway, whatever. All right. I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much. See ya.